This NBA season, Luka Doncic is currently having an MVP-worthy season, leading the league in stats that only previous MVPs have ever done. And while this should come as no surprise given that he has been doing so for years, something has changed. Join me as I walk you through how Luka is finally getting the respect he deserves. Disrespect for years. Despite having an impressive record in Europe, leading Real Madrid to the 2018 EuroLeague title, winning the EuroLeague MVP and the Final Four MVP, Luka Doncic had many doubters coming into the NBA.
I was watching him, when he was coming through the draft process, and I was like, man, the guy is too slow. I don't know how he's gonna get his shot off.
Stephen A. Smith gave him no chance despite never watching him.
Can't teach. I don't give a damn about how this kid in Europe looks. I understand he's a 6'8" point guard. He's surreal. He'll probably be the number 2 overall pick.
Kevin Durant even thought he had no bag.
But look, I want to know about Luka. What's it like guarding him?
When he first came into the league, because I'm like, all it is step back threes, and they be short as hell. He's shooting like 27%, 30%.
According to Dirk Nowitzki, when he first saw Luka Doncic, he looked like a big boy and unathletic for the NBA.
I didn't think that was going to be this kid. He looked at he's a big boy, but I'm like, I'm not sure this is going to work. Is he quick enough? Is he athletic enough to go by guys like he is in Europe? And there were plenty of doubts there from everybody on the team.
Luka Doncic was too slow, overweight, and only a 31% three-point shooter. So it wasn't hard to see him as a bust, a second-round pick, or a player who should have stayed in Europe instead. Besides, it didn't help that before Luka, the last European player with no college experience to be picked with the first 2 picks in the NBA draft was Andrea Bargnani, who has the lowest rebounding rate of any 7-footer to play at least 400 games. And before Bargnani, the only other European to have been taken as a top 2 pick without having played in the NCAA was Darko Milicic. And if you're an NBA fan, you'll know that there is no bigger bust in NBA history than Darko Milicic. It is no surprise that the Phoenix Suns and the Sacramento Kings decided to pass on the European talent. Surprisingly, despite winning the 2018-2019 Rookie of the Year, averaging 21.2 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 6 assists per game, with 8 triple-doubles, the most by a rookie in league history, not many in the NBA still believed he was generational. 6 years in the NBA, and the 5-time All-Star has taken the Dallas Mavericks to the playoffs 3 times, even reaching the conference finals. Before this season, Luka Doncic had broken countless records and set many more. It is hard to argue that a player who did this at 19 years old is not a generational talent or an NBA player who scored the first ever 60-point triple-double while doing this to force overtime is not just another European player. In any case, while he surprisingly never gets in the best player in the NBA talks, a lot seemed to have changed this season. What changed? Luka Doncic this season. In the 2023-2024 NBA season, Luka Doncic is averaging 19.4 points, 5.4 assists, and 4.9 rebounds in just the first half of every game. In 66 games this season, the guard is averaging 33.9 points on 48.9% shooting, 9.8 assists, and 9.2 rebounds. That's a near triple-double. And he is on pace to become the 10th player in NBA history to average 34-plus points per game for an entire season. At the moment, he is tied with James Harden on the all-time list triple-double list, and he has done it with just 396 career games played, becoming the second fastest player in NBA history to reach the 76 triple-double mark. Only Oscar Robertson with 182 games accomplished the feat faster than Luka. Luka Doncic is first in points per game, second in assists per game, first in rebounds per game among guards and wings, 7th in steals per game, and second in efficiency. He ranks first in 35-point games, 40-point games, 30-point triple-doubles, and 40-point triple-doubles. This season, Luka Doncic is shooting better than AD at the rim, better than Kawhi from mid-range, better than Halliburton from beyond the arc, better than Steph on pull-up threes, averaging more points per ISO than Embiid, and more points per P&R than Trey. Luka Doncic currently has the second highest average of points per game, assists per game, and rebounds per game in history, trailing only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's numbers in 1972. However, far from his offensive output, he is also playing the best defense in his NBA career. This season, players are shooting just 37% against Luka Doncic in one-on-one isolation defending. As a post defender, players are only 42.9% against him, putting him in the 91st percentile. It is important to know that Luka Doncic did this with the worst injury luck of any NBA player this season. Kyrie was absent for 22 games, Lively for 19, Exum for 26, Green for 24, and Kleber for 37 games. Luka has had an injured roster and undergone multiple lineup changes, yet has led the Mavs to the 5th seed, almost 4th seed, where they can get home court advantage in a loaded Western Conference. He has outdone himself and is on an MVP run, earning praises from NBA legends and stars. Even a former 2-time MVP named him the 2024 MVP. MVP shouts. Aside from having the best point per game this season, Luka Doncic has scored the 2nd best true shooting percentage versus top 10 defenses. With a stat like that, it's hard to not see his name up there among the contenders for the league's MVP. This obviously should be common knowledge, but then we've got the likes of Stephen A. Smith claiming he is nowhere better than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and even leaving him out of his top 5.
Your honest assessment, who do you think's going to win? If you had to say right now, who do you think's going to win?
I think they'll give it to Jokic.
God, hold on. You left Luka out?
Hey, that's a 5th seed. That's a 5th seed. He battling for 5th seed right now. 5th seed. You understand what I'm saying? Come on, Shannon.
Regardless of what Stephen A. Smith thinks, several NBA stars have since come out in support of Luka's talent and believes he should be MVP. 2-time MVP Nikola Jokic, who is touted to win his 3rd MVP this year, came out to publicly endorse the Mavs guard to win this year's NBA MVP award. I think he deserves the MVP, 100%, but it's not my decision. To be honest, Jokic said of Doncic. An honest opinion by Jokic, when you understand that he was completely outplayed by Luka in their last matchup. But Jokic aside, other former MVPs have had nothing but praises for Luka Doncic. 4-time MVP LeBron James called the Mavs guard his favorite player in the NBA. His size? I mean, he's gigantic. A 6'8" point guard, he's 225 pounds. He is the ball on a string. And more importantly, his vision. That's why I love him, LeBron said. Another MVP who has nothing but praise for Luka has been Allen Iverson. The 2001 MVP named Luka Doncic as the one player in the NBA he would have loved to have played with.
At court with you, one of today's players?
Luka, because he's a big point guard.
Yeah.
I think it'll just be deadly.
I even went as far as to tell Shaquille O'Neal that Luka plays like a black guy and is in awe of what he's done this season.
What the hell is wrong with Luka? His style is kind of like mixed in with the street ball, and then I don't want nobody to take this the wrong way.
He's slow as hell.
No, hell.
He plays like a white guy?
No, he plays like a black guy.
Ah, gotcha. Oh, let me fix it. He has swag.
For what it is worth, that's a few MVPs backing Luka in the MVP race, not just because they like him, but because he has proven without a doubt that he is in fact the best player in the NBA. In any case, this respect not only exists among MVPs, but also among teammates and competitors. However, the stiff competition he faces from other NBA stars like Jokic, Shai, and Giannis, who have been very good this season, makes it difficult to make him an MVP unanimously. Nevertheless, while his chance of being an MVP can be debatable, one thing that hasn't so far is Luka's status as the greatest Mavs player ever, even better than Dirk Nowitzki. Greatest Mavs player ever? When Dallas Mavericks head coach Jason Kidd was asked how good Luka Doncic was, he said, "Better than Dirk. He's in the atmosphere of MJ, the best to ever do it. LeBron James, Kobe, and so just to appreciate what this young man is doing at the age of 24 is something that Dallas has never seen. And I've said this internally, he is better than Dirk. He does things that Dirk could never do." Jason Kidd witnessed Dirk at his peak to have this opinion. Another former Mavs player to have witnessed Dirk at his peak, former NBA forward and 4-time All-Star Shawn Marion, who also weighed in saying, "As far as skill set and scoring-wise, yes, Luka's better than Dirk. That's not even a question. Look at how much Luka is able to do on the floor." Even Dirk Nowitzki admitted that Luka in his rookie season was already better than he was at 19 years old. The legendary forward added that Luka has better court vision and savviness and can read the pick and roll like some of the best NBA players like LeBron and Chris Paul can do. Anyway, 5 years in the NBA and Luka is climbing the ladders of the franchise record. And while he has the potential to lead the Mavs in most records, one thing that could solidify his status as the greatest Mavs player ever will be a championship. Can he lead the Mavs to their second championship? In any case, if many still don't see him as an MVP, a championship will definitely make it hard to ignore him any longer. Nonetheless, several NBA fans have weighed in on the debate over Luka's MVP rank. One user commented, "Having Shai over Luka is basically screaming to everyone either you have no clue or you don't watch the games. Luka's just unstoppable, period. The only guy that can take this MVP beside him is Jokic, because he's basically the same but as a center." Another commented, "Luka's double team rate is significantly higher than everybody and he's still putting up these numbers. MVP him. Well, we can only hope he does get the respect he deserves. If you enjoyed this video, the next video on your screen is worth your time.